barbell, by comparison to any previously existing tool, is almost a miracle.
We're back, folks.
Episode
2.
Episode 2.
Episode 2 of Big Man Problems. Thanks for joining us and thanks for listening. We've been getting some good feedback so far. I myself, who is the CEO and the producer, and what else? Just keep it going. What
You clean the toilets.
I do that as well. Nathan Weaver,
You ever,
co-owner of the Iron Fortress Gym,
you
and
ever
then we
seen,
have here with it.
You ever seen Peter Pan?
Yeah.
It goes, I'm Nibs. I plan the battles. That's what that reminded me of.
I'm
right
Nibs. I plan the battles.
I plan the battles. Sorry.
And we've got your boy Zach Wybert here, straight out of Compton,
Straight out of Moberly.
and it's pretty close. It's like the Midwest Compton.
Yeah.
Actually, is Compton still considered Midwest?
Compton?
Yeah.
I believe Compton's in California.
Oh wait, what am I thinking of?
No idea.
Okay, all right. Well,
Hard to tell.
I failed history.
That's geography.
Geography. I'm editing that
That
out.
legitimately made me laugh. That was good. Man.
Oh man. Anyway,
I failed math.
I failed math. Yeah, like that. That's geography.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
So hey, this is episode 2. I'm Zach. I'm the chubby one with charisma. So I want to kick this off. I thought of a quick little game. We're going to try to just keep this short because we're both dumb enough to turn this into an hour-long debate. I want to do this like pro sports style.
Oh wow.
And I want to do like a 3 or 4 round draft pick with me and you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the topic is the things we're drafting. It can be anything, but it's the best pairs out there.
Okay.
So things that go together.
Okay.
And, I can go first since, it was my thing to give you kind of an idea. Or you
Okay.
can go first so you don't think I've just stacked the deck on you. What are you thinking?
That's fine. That works. You're gonna probably stack the deck against me anyway. So.
No, I literally thought of this in the car on the way here.
Oh wow, really?
I only have my first round. That's all I
You
have.
didn't even know we were going to do this segment until you got here.
I think when I'm not around you. Like I
think a lot of thoughts.
I think things even though I'm not going to see you later that day. You realize that, right?
No, for sure.
I'm not
For
a
sure.
What is that? You think I'm an NPC just in a closet somewhere when I'm not around
that is
you.
not.
You
no,
are so
No, that's why
conceited.
I asked you was because I'll run into you that day
Hey.
and you're like, "Hey, I got a would you rather."
You don't appreciate me enough, and one day you're going to turn around
Yeah.
and I'm not going to be here.
Oh.
And then you'll be sorry. Don't act happy. That's rude.
Oh.
Quit it. All right, so here you go. You want to go first
Hit me
round?
with it. Hit me with it.
For first round, and this may come and bite me in the haunches, bite me in my sweet supple haunches later, but I'm going to go with beef and cheese, maybe cheddar specifically.
Whoa, like together? What's
It's
the
a
question
pair.
here?
Okay.
Did
you fail this subject too in home? in
No, don't be
homeschool, or-
rude. Don't be rude.
The first round, you're picking 2 things that go together.
Okay.
And it could be something that doesn't historically go together. You could
Okay.
be like mint chocolate chip ice cream and Oreos.
Okay.
But I'm going beef and cheddar
Okay.
first round.
Okay.
You know why? I'll eat that every day for the rest of my life.
That is a good pair of food.
You don't like this game.
No, I'm in. I'm
right,
in.
then
The reason
you're-
I was confused was because I thought you were going to hit me with a would you rather. And then you gave me
Oh.
a best pair of foods.
Yeah, that's
I'm
how
re- I'm in. Let's
that's how
roll
I
with it.
That's how I explained it.
Yeah.
But you didn't listen. Anyway, what's your
But
first
you
round?
didn't listen.
What's your first round draft pick? And part of the problem is you got to go off the cuff here, so you don't have a lot of time to think.
No, I know what I'm going with.
So right now,
there's something that I could eat.
Right now,
every
we're in
day.
the war room. You know what I mean? We got to
Right.
make a decision for the team. So
Yeah.
what are you going with?
I'm going peanut butter and jelly.
I like that.
I could eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every night
I totally
or
agree.
multiple times a day.
I totally agree. Can I flip this on its ear? Because I think
gosh.
I only think outside the box, and it's going to blow you away.
Okay, let's go for it.
American freedom. Hey Nate. Hey Nate. How bummed are you right now? I
Two
just
things
took
go
America
together.
and freedom off the board for you.
Two things that go together. I didn't realize we were going with
I
you
know.
ideology.
Dude, I said
thought we were-
pairs. I said pairs.
Yeah, you're right. You did.
Can you show me the rule book?
I got it.
No,
Hey,
you can't.
hey, I'm gonna match you. You ready? You ready?
Dang it. I hate
shoes.
What?
If you only have one shoe?
You're going left and right?
Gotcha.
Are you taking all left and
Gotcha.
right off the board?
Yeah. You're
See,
one.
I just gave you that. You were going with just shoes.
No,
and
I was saying
gave
they
you-
go together.
I
You're
get-
going to wear one shoe around all day?
I'm saying you could have gone with the concept of left and right.
Yeah.
That
but
would have been way
shoes are
better.
Shoes are that's
You're going to stick to your guns on the worst
yeah,
idea
of
ever,
course.
right?
No, it's
Okay.
not. One shoe? You're going to rock one shoe?
If I have one leg.
They go together.
If I have one leg.
No, we're going
Diabetes runs in my family.
we're going you
There's
got
a real
doubles
chance of that.
we're going you got doubles of everything you're supposed We're going you got doubles of everything you're supposed to. Okay?
All right.
No random incidents, no random accidents. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That's
It's
pretty good.
So the problem with going first is you get to go last. So you get to drop the mic if I'm not careful.
I can't think of any more after that.
So
That's
right
the best
now-
I had today.
It's the best I had today. Brain power depleted. Let me think of a good third rounder here. Can I ask the court for an extra 5 second here?
You can take all the time you need. We got plenty of time for this segment. Take all the time you need.
All right. Now, we're married men,
Yeah.
and so I would never speak crass of single ladies or anything like that.
Right.
I'm just thinking this is bigger than me. This is bigger than us. I'm gonna go springtime/summertime. That time frame, and remember back when you were a young man for
Okay.
this one,
Okay.
and sundresses. When it gets sundress weather, they go together. When you start seeing sandals and sundresses and weather, dude. I mean, granted that's three things, but I'm gonna go that time of year.
Yeah.
And not for me. I don't want to wear a sundress. That's not what I meant.
No, I get it. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
blew it,
I
mate.
mean,
I
it was-
blew it. I blew it.
I don't see how you're going to top America and freedom.
I don't have to, because it's on the board.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Although I did put beef and cheddar above American freedom, so that's kind of
I'm trying to think of something here. I don't know that I can beat that.
you got to do something. Just get
Okay,
on the
okay,
board,
hold
dude.
on, hold on.
You did left and right shoes. So how can you top that?
I still think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah,
chick
dude.
gonna rock one heel? No.
I mean, there's a lot of TikTok trends out there. That could be a thing. You know, I will say there was a time in my life I rocked only one shoe at a time because I was into rollerblades, and I thought it was really fun. Joe Rogan's character on News Radio, like 1,000 years ago, he was a mail courier, and he had one rollerblade on and one shoe.
Okay.
It was pretty fun.
That's pretty good.
I fell a lot, but
Oh, I know what you're talking about. He was on that show randomly for like a couple
like
of
Andy Dick, I think, was on there
That's wild.
a long time ago. Back
I
before
saw a
he
clip
was,
of that, yeah.
Back before he was Joe Rogan. I think he was Joseph Rogan at the time.
Dude, he would like I mean not that he's not now, he's much more rugged, but
Yeah.
he was a good looking dude. Like he was kind of a pretty boy.
Yeah.
Like he had that like
Never
actor.
had great hair though.
Yeah. But I mean
That's his only downfall. But the man pulls a bald look pretty well. I've stalled long enough for you.
I got a good one.
Go ahead.
Fall time and hoodies.
You kind of copied mine, and that's okay. That's okay because I understand how your brain works. It's like,
But that's not bad.
yeah, no, that's not bad. Yours.
I think it's-
Can I say something?
Yeah.
It's better than mine, and I was lashing out.
But that's only because you love fall time and hoodies. We were just
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah,
it
of
when we were walking
course.
into the studio.
Of course, if we had to have, can I say my honorable mention?
Sure.
I'm going to say strongman and beards,
That's
or maybe strength sports and beards. Probably.
yeah, that is a thing.
I'm a big fan.
That is a thing. They even make I mean I've seen tons of memes about it.
Yeah.
You see memes where it's like they'll have what a bodybuilder looks like and then what a
For
strongman.
sure.
And usually powerlifters have a beard, but
Yeah.
it's not quite as long and unkempt as
Would you
a
rather
strongman.
be able to pause time
Okay.
whenever you want,
Okay.
but only for like a let's say like a 15-minute time frame? It's not like you can pause and for indefinite time become like an expert on a topic and just own nerds on the internet and debates or anything like that. Let's say you can pause time for 15 minutes.
Okay.
And move around, move about, do your thing,
Okay.
or talk to animals.
Oh.
Can I build a case for both real quick?
Well, let me answer
Or do you
first.
wanna answer
Let
first?
me answer
Okay.
first.
Okay.
You know, I really do think it would be cool to talk to animals,
Yeah.
but I think I might go with pause time.
Yeah. There's no wrong answer in this one, but if there is, it's that.
Okay. Well,
Let me tell you why. Hey, little Timmy's missing. We lost him in the woods. And you call a bird down and you say, hey, here's the deal. We need to find little Timmy. He flies up in the nearest tree, sends out a bird call to all the other birds.
Yeah.
Timmy's found in the next 8 seconds.
No, you're right. I was being selfish. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you were.
That
That's okay. That's okay, because who knows what you'd be doing with your 15 minutes of freedom, you complete and total, utter degenerate.
That has nothing to do with it.
I think our listeners are going to understand what I mean by this. You're such a bad person. That,
Okay, that's nobody thinks
you're
that.
going to use every would you rather superpower is going to be used for your
That's
financial
not true.
and personal gain.
That is rude. That's not true.
Also,
but for the time, okay, can I?
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
Is, after this is kind of all right. My scenario that I think of for pausing time is breaking the law. But is there a scenario where you could walk into a bank, pause time, rob it, and leave?
yeah, oh yeah.
Would the cameras catch you?
No.
It would
It's-
they just saw you standing in the
you're,
lobby.
You're
time
basically a
pauses.
ghost. You
Dude,
know, like
that's pretty gnarly.
and from their perspective, it'll probably look like teleporting and stuff. You know,
That's pretty gnarly.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
You're probably never going to be caught because I didn't put parameters on it. If you could just pause for 15 minutes, get 15 minutes away, like let's say you're running from somebody,
Right.
get 15 minutes away, unfreeze, freeze. You know what I mean? You could effectively do it indefinitely if
Yeah.
I don't put any parameters on it.
Yeah.
That's why I say there's really no wrong answer. I just think like there's probably a little more temptation to do the wrong thing if you're pausing time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But dude, even if you wanted to just go live like a simple life up in the mountains somewhere, you know what would be awesome? This is low key. You
I
could
just thought of
probably be the
something, too.
best farmer ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what I just thought of, too, for that same scenario? You could save some lives.
Mm-hmm.
If you had 15 extra minutes to get somebody to the hospital or whatever.
We're 4 minutes into this conversation and you just realized you could use it for good.
No, okay. See, you're...
And that's just facts. I'm not calling your character into question. I'm just repeating what just happened.
Zach texted me before the show today, and he goes, I'm on one today.
I'm
and
on
then
one.
he goes, I'm coming for you. And you know what? I'm feeling it now. I'm feeling it. I'm into it. It's fine. It's great. You know, last time, did I get you? I got you. You know?
Look, dude, I just woke up this morning and I said one thing to myself.
Nate's going to pay.
No, not even
Oh,
that.
oh, okay.
I said, I'm making him better today through adversity.
Oh, wow.
Like it's not going to be an easy one. I'm not going to give you a softball pitch.
No,
I'm
I'm
giving you
into
one.
it. I like
I'm
it.
pitching it right in your kitchen, and I'm making you hitting it. I'm making you hit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right into the kitchen.
Remove all the sexual overtones of that because I didn't mean it like that. I meant like as a friend, I'm going to make you work for it today. Okay?
No,
We're
I'm
going to
down.
get better. These are mental reps.
Mental reps.
Yeah, we're on a 5-3-1 Windler 5-3-1 mental reps.
So you would go with the animals. You would go talk to animals?
Usually, I just choose the thing you didn't choose
No, I know.
because
I know.
I like the witty repertoire.
Right. If I say A, you're going to say B, you know?
Yeah, or I'll say C because you can't box me in, or I'll say banana sandwich because I don't play by your rules.
Wow.
You give me A or B, and I choose March. You know what I mean? I choose Pluto.
Yeah, no.
you hear about Pluto?
what?
It's messed up, right?
What
It's
happened?
not a planet anymore.
That happened a long time ago.
But you heard about it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking.
Yeah, I heard that would they change
I
it
didn't
to
know.
a star?
I didn't know if you had internet at your house.
I do. It's not great, but I do.
Hold on now. I don't really understand you guys a little bit, and I don't mean that as like you guys, but like
that's
you can.
What do you
even-
mean by you guys?
Well, let me ask.
Half Guatemalans?
You guys can like. I didn't think Amish could have electricity.
Okay,
out there.
not Amish.
What are you talking about? You live
I
amongst.
live way out in the country, and
You-
yeah, we don't have great internet.
You live
okay?
amongst the trees, don't
but
you?
I have a very full life. Okay, I have internet here at my place of business. All right.
Well, it's my place, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think talk to button this up. I think talking to animals is like probably the one I would go with because it seems dope. Because like think about it like this: you could have like 3 dogs around you,
Mm-hmm.
and they would just be perfect.
Right.
You'd have them sitting right there because you'd be able to tell them, "Hey guys, chill out, take a nap."
Yeah, you
know
could
what I
do
mean?
a lot of
like go run some energy out because we're going to be in the car for like an hour. Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like dumb stuff like that. Let
Yeah.
alone, you could
could
be the best SeaWorld trainer of all time.
Yeah, I was about to say you could turn that into like the dog whisperer would be like
dude, you would train Belgian Malinois for like our troops or whoever better than any that has ever been trained.
very true.
You know?
Very true.
Yeah, so that one would be cool. And like I haven't given this a ton of thought, so I'm sure there's some obvious ones out there. Let alone like, are we saying insects? Can we talk to insects?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
You know?
Because if I could just go tell every spider in the world to go crawl into a volcano, what a legacy!
That'd probably cause some major problems in the ecosystem.
Not if I could tell everybody to figure it out. I could tell all the
right. You'd be
You know what I mean?
like,
I'll just tell all the birds like, "Hey, we're done with spiders." You know?
yeah. Hey, we're done with the spiders. So
Hey, you know the spiders? Nah, done.
see ya. All right. Well,
I suppose we should get down into training talk.
yeah, we got to get into the nitty gritty.
That was a good one though.
That was good. So today's training today.
State of the plates.
State of the plates. Training today is on diet. Diet and training.
Feels like you're targeting me with this one, but let's go.
I'm not.
What
I'm
we
not.
got? You got
No.
anything specifically, or are we just riffing
No,
on that?
no.
idea?
So I have like a very specific thing, and it has to do with. I have actually I think 3 or 4 people right now that are cutting, and I adjust people's training kind of around that, right? We usually will do some adjusting to match their, fewer calories or whatever. But I was talking to people who are really struggling with like even how to get started, and a couple people specifically were, and this is a very common thing, but they were just on that board of, okay, I got to change everything all at once,
Right.
and I have found a lot of success with a couple of things that I've been doing with them specifically, and
Sick.
I wanted to talk about this for people who are, whether they're just trying to get their diet in order, they're trying to track, they're trying to figure out how to track, like whatever it is, they're doing those things. You and I have talked about this in length a bunch, but I started off with people, and this can kind of just be a tidbit that people can take with them, and you can see if you can let me know if you agree or disagree or whatever. But
Sure. I'll disagree.
okay,
Spoiler
well,
alert.
you don't
Go
you
ahead.
haven't even heard it yet. So
Yeah. I just know our history together. Go ahead.
so one of the things that I've been doing, and this is in the scenario of somebody who has been trying to like eat cleaner, has been trying to get their stuff in order, but
Is this a novice? Where are we at in our training?
yeah, we're like a year and a half in.
Okay. A couple years deep.
So went and used a online like macro and calorie calculator,
Sure.
and they started following that.
Kudos on starting there.
Yeah, great, right? Great.
Yeah.
And they at least were like looking into calories, okay?
Mhm.
And so they went and did that, started their diet based off of that, okay? They weren't like really tracking. They weren't putting anything into an app or like having specific numbers,
Okay.
but they're in their mind, they're in the arena in their mind.
Sure.
Okay? They're like a month deep, maybe 5 weeks deep, no progress at all.
Right.
Haven't lost a pound.
Not a pound. Gotcha.
And so I told them I was, I wasn't like hating on those calculators, but I was kind of hating on those calculators.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, these things are a decent place to start.
Yeah.
And I think it's at least getting you in that mindset of, hey, I can go to one of these places. Bodybuilding.com has one. You can just type it in, and there's just websites where that's all they do.
Right.
And it's usually free or whatever. And sometimes there's ones that have more specific parameters that you can put in for yourself. You know,
Right.
I'm this tall, I'm this weight, I'm this
Yeah.
age, this is how active I am. But the activity things can be kind of iffy too.
There's like 3 options,
Yeah.
right? It's like sedentary, moderately active, extremely active. Or
Yeah.
Like, or less than that sometimes.
Yeah, so I asked them then, like, have you gained any weight? And they said no.
Okay.
So I thought that was interesting because most of the time I have seen the opposite, where these places will say, hey, you're not eating enough.
Yeah.
Whatever the calculation is, it's way too many calories.
So
Because there's
really quickly, by
Yeah.
definition, for anybody listening, if you are eating and not gaining weight, barring, and this is over a 4-week period, not like a week or 2,
Mhm.
but barring any unforeseens, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're not gaining any weight, that means you're at your maintenance calories right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's what it takes to keep you where
Yeah,
you're at.
yeah, and there's like I usually have people look at a small percentage. So let's say 3% of your body, not 3%. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Like 3 to 5 pounds can fluctuate all the time from salt, glycogen, whatever else is going on.
Let alone
water.
extreme body weights. You know, like the higher that goes up, the
very
more that
good.
can.
Yeah, very true. And that's the case a lot of the times for you. And
Oh no, I heard your insult. Go on.
I thought you were going to come back with something, and your face was just.
I'm just a bit of a rubber. I'm rubber, you're glue sort of.
Okay,
mentality right
gotcha.
now. No, go ahead.
I also have an extreme body weight, so
You got an extreme body.
don't not on the air.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, so I told them scratch all that, and I said get an app.
Mhm.
I gave them the one I use. There's
Mhm.
multiple ones that are good out there, and I told them don't change anything of how you eat. Don't change anything, but just input it.
Yeah.
Because I like that, because then you can say you don't have to make any huge changes. We're going to take 2 weeks to have you input just what you eat to get used to doing that practice, right?
Yeah, a good point.
And then they get used to saying like, okay, I'm looking at nutrition labels now.
Yeah.
I'm diving into this thing. And they can get used to inputting their calories, not changing anything. It doesn't matter what the calories end up. It doesn't,
Right.
A lot of the times I've had a couple people like kind of be, well, they were like, so I swapped this out for this and this out for whatever. And I was like, okay, I didn't because they didn't want me to see that it was like McDonald's 3 times that day,
yeah,
which, sounds amazing.
you could,
but
you could lose weight with 3.
For sure. It was just that they didn't want to have like what they're.
Oh, for
and I was,
sure.
it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what it
Yeah.
is. Just input all the calories, and we'll see what happens. Right.
Right.
So, she did that for 2 weeks, in this particular case,
Right.
and then from there we found out, okay, she's around this certain calorie threshold.
Mhm.
Okay. And her weight was around the same.
Sure.
She was fluctuated a little bit. I think she was up like a pound a little bit, but it could have just been the day. Anyway, I was like, all right, 500, slash it.
Yeah.
And I was like, we can pick 1 or 2 things. I looked at, then I can see what they're eating, right?
Exactly.
And
That's from the very beginning. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I want to mention one thing, and this isn't hate on your client, because I see this a lot. You started with a good place. You went to some source of what am I trying to say? Some source of information, some oracle, some beacon
Yeah.
of truth
right, where
on
you
the
can
internet.
something to follow, something to.
The first issue I saw was not with that, because you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It's the not really tracking it.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
it's
and,
too.
And again, this isn't hate on anybody, because I do it myself sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like getting a program or a coach or whatever, to call back from last episode, and you're trying to follow the coach's guidelines, but you're not writing down, you're not logging any of it. So when you go back to bench again, it's like you don't know what you benched last time. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have to have some
yeah,
semblance
for sure.
of-
I'm a huge. Yeah. And
And by the way, to piggyback on what you're saying about tracking what they were eating,
yeah.
it's so much easier to pick out the low hanging fruit.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
starting there.
for sure. And it doesn't that if somebody's brand spanking new, I wouldn't even start there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even start with this, because it depends on the person, right? Because in my mind and in my opinion, you have to want to track.
Yeah.
Most people, when I talk to them, they're like, I will not put anything in an app. I do not feel like
Sure.
doing all of that. Okay, you have to be ready for that step.
Yeah.
And so I would start differently if somebody was totally brand spanking new. We were trying to lose weight just to lose weight.
I want to talk on that one once you're done talking about
Okay.
this person.
And in this specific scenario, she's training. She's in it.
Yeah.
Like she's
Both
lifting.
feet in the boat.
And so we're also not just losing weight to lose weight. We're trying to keep
I
a
did want to
performance
ask
standpoint.
that. So you're talking about this specific person. It's not cutting for bodybuilding show.
No.
This is like for health, for wellness,
And performance,
to move
right?
better.
Yeah, she's
yeah,
training.
yeah.
She's lifting. Yeah,
With like a better body composition
right.
to be more efficient. and
Yeah.
whatnot.
And so, I like I said, I would start differently depending upon that. But she was ready for that step. So
I'm interrupting you too much.
that's all right. Go ahead. What's up?
The reason I want to call this out. The reason I bring up the purpose of the cut is because in bodybuilding you're not cutting for performance.
Right. No.
So because we're cutting for performance, you need to feed the machine.
Yeah, you have to be able to come in and still be able to train, especially like in the early stages,
So
right?
We're prioritizing muscle mass and strength
Yeah.
over
Mm-hmm.
aesthetics.
Right.
And that's why that's important. So
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, and some of those like you were saying, some of those definitely overlap. They're
Feed
not
the
necessarily.
Machine was the name of our rock band in high school.
I
Sorry.
love, dude. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Go
close
on.
to Rage Against the Machine.
Nah,
but
it's not totally different. Go
All right,
ahead.
totally different. So then once we saw it, I was like, we're slashing 500, and I can now see what the diet is. And we picked out one thing that it was like, this is low, like you said, low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
We'll pick out one thing.
This
okay?
500 calories for most of us is not a big deal over the course of a day.
Yeah.
You know, if you're able to do 3 to 5 meals, you know, that's a whole lot more doable.
Yeah,
than,
for sure.
You know.
Yeah. And this is like a grueling process for some people.
Mhm.
Even just what we've talked about here, I totally understand that. I love all of this.
Yeah.
But so we picked out some low, and there's a lot. Usually the thing I look for immediately, and you and I have talked about this before, you've done the same thing with somebody, is drinking the calories.
I love you for that.
Yeah, drinking the calories. So,
Because they are everywhere, sir.
oh, it's and a lot of people do know. It seems like more people now are understanding that, okay, like I'm going to cut out regular soda and I'm going to drink Gatorade instead.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, same thing. It's the same thing. There's still, 60 carbs in a, 28 ounces of, Gatorade or whatever. I think it's a little less
or
than
my
that,
morning coffee has
but
250
huge
calories
one,
in it.
Huge one.
And
Yeah.
you don't think about that
Huge.
because I'm drinking this for caffeine.
Yeah.
But I'm also making it palatable because I'm a human and I like calories
sure,
and da da
for
da
sure.
da da.
So we started with that, and we went, and I said, there's a very real possibility here that it may take 3 weeks before your body will start. I think it's quicker than that,
Mm-hmm.
but I have found recently within the last like year or 2 years that I've seen it more often where it seems like women, it takes longer before that drop starts to happen. And I don't know if that's like a water thing or if that's I think you got the hormones
I
going
was going
there.
to say that could be a hormonal issue.
Yeah,
Not issue.
But
so-
just that
yeah.
And so, I said, let's go 2 weeks. It should only take a week, really. But let's go 2 weeks and see what happens or whatever. Down 1.5 pounds.
That's awesome.
And I was like, boom, we're in the right track. So we're just rolling with that. Same thing right now. We haven't done anything. And I said, okay, we're going to go from that point. And this all, by the way, none of this works if the person's not willing to do the adherence, right?
You have to buy in with anything we're talking about.
All of this stuff is going to take, you're going to have to want to do it, and you're going to have to follow it. Because if,
Do you think the 80-20 rule works here where like I need compliance at least 80% of the time? Like that's not to say, I mean you and I can screw up a 10-day average of a calorie
Yeah.
deficit in
yeah.
a meal or two.
yeah.
But for the average person
Yeah, I think so. I think it kind of depends on the person, too, because
and the timeline
if you
and
give,
then what the
because
goals
some people are
and-
100 or nothing.
right.
And I get that person.
that
I'm
person.
kind of that way.
I'm usually nothing is the problem.
I'm kind of that way where, it's like
That could be the name of our podcast, 100 and
100.
nothing. You're 100 and I'm nothing.
That's not true. I just
Yeah.
I think yeah, it depends on the person because there are some people where they want to go 100% and then if they have like a small little treat, then they'll start to backslide,
Yeah.
But in this scenario, I'm looking for mainly just a calorie threshold. I'm like, you want to go, eat out, and just try to
Plan
keep
for it.
Just plan for it. Just try to keep it whatever. We have to stay within the
Yeah,
calories,
plan
right?
for it and don't fly off the rails.
Right, and it's also hopefully you're not doing that every day.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go once or twice a week and go out to eat with your significant other or friends or family or whatever it is, go, have the ice cream after or whatever it is,
Right.
fine. But
Look-
just factor it in.
Look, man, the first time they put that pumpkin donut out with that cream cheese icing,
Yeah.
you have to have one.
Oh, anything,
it's,
dude.
It's the fall.
It's
a
tradition.
rule.
Andy's, when they come out with the
Yeah.
pumpkin pie concrete,
Stop.
your boys
Don't even-
there.
Yeah, we're
I'm
there.
going. DQ has one too.
Yeah.
I could tell you where all of the pumpkin pie shakes are in Columbia.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of my thing for the day is, and I want you to chime in on this. Would you go for somebody that's super new? We're going on the factor here that maybe somebody has been training,
Yeah.
but diet has not been on the radar.
So-
Would you go calories first and like dive into that, or would you do let's just pick one thing and knock it out? Do you think it depends on the person? Like what? Yeah, tell me about it.
Shame on me for painting with such a broad brush, but I'm gonna for the purpose of this question. I almost always, and I'm not nearly as versed as you are, but I try to look at it from a place of like I said earlier, low-hanging fruit and compliance. Those are the two things I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always start with let's get your protein intake right?
Great one.
Because
Yeah.
I find that to be the hardest one for them to do.
Yeah.
So if I can get you to a point where you're taking in, 10, 20, 30% more protein than you were, and also, small caveat, if you come to me and we're training and your main goal is weight loss.
Yeah.
They don't say that. They say fitness, which that's a podcast for another day. I hate
Yeah,
that
yeah.
word
I
as a
get it.
goal.
But I get it.
Yeah, it's like saying I want to be happy. Well, what does that mean? How would you be happy? Anyway.
Yeah.
I tell people a lot, and I think it sets the precedent up front. I tell them, even in this first month of our training, I kind of don't care if you gain a pound or two, because I'm trying to get you to a place where you don't hate being here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you in a place where, you're not burning the candle at both ends. How many people have we seen that are 100 or nothing
Yeah.
who are like, yeah, I'll train for 4 hours a day and I'll eat salad.
Right.
How long? How long are you going to do that?
Oh, man.
And then I'll never see you again because
Yeah.
of the shame you feel falling off the wagon.
Yeah.
And then when I see you at Hy-Vee, I've literally seen people at the gas station by our gym
Yeah.
who just acted like they've never known me before because they were so embarrassed.
Yeah.
And this is me projecting. I don't know.
Right.
But they were so embarrassed that they never came back. And I'm like, it didn't have to be that way.
No, it's not. Yeah, and I whenever I'm tackling this with somebody, that's a big factor to me. I think that this is a topic for another day probably, but we can just touch on it. How much the mental intertwines with everyone's relationship with food, and how much the mental aspect is of this. Like,
there's a huge cultural component and social component to
and
food.
so that's my thing is on top of the cultural component of the pressure of what your diet has to look like. Most of the time when I'm training women or I'm coaching women on this aspect, they see Whitney Simmons or whoever it is on Instagram posting like,
I think Whitney Houston, is that what you're going for?
not Whitney Houston Simmons.
Oh.
I don't even know if she's still the thing. That might be
Gene
like
Simmons? Richards, you're saying Richards. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, he might do it too. I don't know, but
I'm tracking.
it's like follow my meals for the day. Or it's like eat with me today, and then it's this cutesy video of the perfect meals, and it's like meal number 3, and it's like avocado toast with 3 ounces of salmon and BDBD, and it's like this whole frickin' thing. It's so annoying, and I'm like, that's not. Maybe if that's your scenario, fine. Like that can be real life, I guess. But for the majority of us, it's not.
I'm going to bring up 2 names that come to mind when you say that.
Okay.
One is, and I gained a ton of respect for this dude when I heard this, Stan Efferding.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I felt like such a fraud when I'm sitting there talking. I'm in what do you call that? Not a conference, but where he's in front of the gym. He's doing the Q&A
Seminar.
Seminar. Thank you. Yeah. I'm dumb. And a soccer mom. He's just calling out a certain person. A soccer mom stands up and she's like, how do I do this diet or whatever? And he's like, knowing full well she doesn't have $2,000 a month to spend on steak.
Right.
And he just points out the fact that, like, in terms of fitness and living life, he doesn't live the life that most of us live.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's because of the hard work he's put. I mean, that's no shade on him. I'm just
Yeah.
saying he pointed that out. And then the second person I'm going to bring out, and I think this is a good resource for anybody, but especially any female listening. I really like Meg Squat's point of view on that.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
And this is why I start with protein instead of a calorie restriction for our brand new newbie.
For sure.
Your client's in a different place.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Is she has this, I don't know what you call it, motto? I don't know. Be more. With women specifically, we're telling them be less, lose weight, be less.
For sure.
Thigh gap, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
I want you to feed the machine and be more, whatever the more is. Not necessarily more on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
If that's your goal, great. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I want you stronger. I want you healthier. I want you all the above.
Yeah, and I that's why I told her, like, stop everything you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're eating. Let's just put down what you're eating, and we're starting from there to see, like, where things are lacking. But then for the most part, it's like we can with the diet reformation, whatever you want to call it. I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about like recomping the calories, the nutrition, the macros.
Right.
When somebody's at that point, to me, I'm like, we can have you put in everything. And from looking at it, we could cut 500 calories and up your protein more than likely.
Easy.
Because and still keep you in that calorie threshold, because it's like, this is, and most of the time it's so much more enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I've even started with 250 for some people, like a 250 deficit. It's like, you're not even going to notice it's gone.
Right.
And the most of the time, if somebody's in that boat where I'm like, okay, we're on the much heavier side, let's say, and this whole thing is going to be quite the process. There, even somebody who's like very regularly training, it's like you're winning. By the way,
Yes.
I want to tell them you're winning.
Yes.
You're in here lifting. You're in here training. You're in here 4 times a week, sticking to a good program progressively. Like you're winning. Like this is a great place to go to next to keep, to keep climbing the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And, if when somebody's on the heavier side and they're going to be struggling with all of this, I'm like, I usually will start to lean towards like a very small deficit, something that is going to get it, like at least the scale is going to drop. You don't want to go too small and then there's no progress, right? Painstaking. But then,
Because that is a grind. That has to be the right person.
it's terrible.
You are let's just use you and me. Stop talking, hypotheticals.
Right.
I need 500 or 1,000 calorie deficit because I need that scale to reflect
I
it
don't-
immediately.
yeah.
And I know enough to know if I so I've done carnivore in the past with some success.
Yeah.
I did it as an elimination diet, not necessarily as the weight loss was like a secondary thing, but
Right.
I know that when I've dropped 10 pounds in like 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
it's a ton of water.
Yeah.
It's mostly
Yeah,
water.
and-
Maybe zero fat. I know that, but
Yeah.
also like I have to play this game of chess with my whatever that compliance issue is
Right.
like the little boy inside of me or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus we have clients or we have had clients in the past where we can you're doing good. Let's drop your calories another 150 calories, 200
Yeah.
calories.
Yeah. If you got
a
somebody
day.
that can be that,
Yeah.
yeah. If you got somebody that's like that, that's awesome.
Yeah. It takes the right person is all I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
So
on
we're
that.
walking
Yeah.
this balance, whether it's
Yeah.
training or diet or whatever, where it's like,
Yeah.
here's the real path, but I also have to have one foot in the like, I don't know how to say this. It's not the extreme, but it almost is. I need this. I need you to see something here. I need you to see the progress.
Right.
And this is why training for strength as opposed to like bodybuilding, I feel like is superior, mostly because I don't have the mindset for that. But you can see, okay, your scale is staying the same.
Mm-hmm.
Your squat went up though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's so many ways to measure like progress at that point that can be just not the mirror.
Yeah.
Because that's the worst is to sit there and like that's your one gauge.
Yeah.
You can climb on the barbell and see the scale drop a little bit if you're at that
Don't
point.
climb on barbells.
Yeah, that's
The Iron
that's a
Forces
safety
gym
hazard.
does
That's a
not
safety hazard.
condone any acrobatics in the gym, unless you're going for that kind of gym.
Stan Efferding says one of the best quotes ever, and he's probably not the one that coined it. He would probably give it to somebody else, but before him. But the best diet is the one that you'll follow.
Yeah.
And so that's why when everybody thinks, okay, 1,000 calorie deficit, chicken and rice, or whatever it is, it's like it doesn't. There's a lot of ways to skin the cat, and who's the company? Who's the place that does like the animal cruelty stuff and like
PETA.
Yeah, just don't. You didn't hear that, PETA. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Cat is a euphemism.
There's a lot of ways to get the job done.
Yeah.
And and there's the two main factors. You're right. Is consistency, and what was the other thing you said?
I said compliance and maybe low hanging fruit. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Finding what you'll follow and doing it with the consistency.
And this isn't like what I'm to clarify. This isn't like a live your truth sort of thing, but it's like what will work for you sort of thing.
Yeah, because there's a lot of ways that it can look. It's like lifting to me.
Mm-hmm.
There are these basic principles that for sure we have to have,
Mm-hmm.
but from stemming off of that, it can look a lot of ways from there. If you're in a caloric deficit and you're consistent, we're there.
Yeah.
We're there, and that can look a lot of ways. But I think, in my case specifically, for an example, this is like my life is probably some of the, and yours is too right now. Some of the craziest it's ever been schedule wise.
Sure.
And I've
And
been on a cut,
Yeah.
and over the last like 4 or 5 weeks, and this was the first time ever where I was like kind of unhappy with my like food choices,
Yeah.
but I was like, this is my life right now,
Yeah.
And so for 2 meals out of however many meals I've been eating of the day, it's been 2 Nutri-Grain bars and a protein shake twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather not do that,
Yeah.
but I'm still down 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And
Scoreboard, baby.
that's not ideal, But, because now I'm really only eating, like, 2.5 meals in the day of, like, regular food that actually makes me, like, feel better.
So I want you to speak to this because
Yeah.
you are the diet guys between you and I. You
Okay.
are the diet guy.
Okay.
And I think this is an important call out. You're doing something that you don't really prefer to do right now, but there's also an end in sight for you.
Right.
Like, so cutting isn't perpetual.
Yeah.
So how long should somebody be cutting?
Yeah.
And this is not for a show. This is just
Yeah. No, for regular, for like the regular average, there's differences, I think, for how lean you are and how big you are for
just,
what we would do.
just shoot from the hip here.
No, I
General
think
person.
12 weeks is the gem number.
So the beauty of that is,
Yeah.
if I go tell you to run till you puke, you're going to be done after a mile. If I
Yeah.
ask you to run 2 miles, you're going to be fine.
Right.
And I think what I mean by that is, if you have the resources, there's no reason for the resources mean time, money, whatever.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to hate your diet. There's a lot out there where
Yeah.
we can, if you have the time and the money.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
But if you find yourself in that position where, like, this is going to suck for a while, just understand, like, this has an expiration date on it.
Yeah.
We're doing this for a short time, going back to maintenance calories for, would you say, another 3 months, or how long?
Yeah, it depends.
Depends on goals.
Yeah,
depends on everybody.
Yeah, and it kind of if somebody can, like, watch what the scale is doing, I really think the reimplementate that, like, rather than how long your maintenance phase is,
Mm-hmm.
it should probably at least be a month.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the more important piece, for sure, is what I've been seeing with myself, but other people, is the reimplementation of the maintenance calories.
Got you.
So, if somebody, let's say we got somebody, we're at the end of 12 weeks, and by that point we're down to 1,000 calories, right? To make
Mhm.
sure that we were, the metabolism slows down, whatever happens, where, it's tougher to get fat off the body, right?
Right.
So, I have with one of them, I don't think she'll care. With Sally, she is a machine. Like, Sally is a different scenario, because she's just like, I could be like, all right, we're taking off 250. We're at she could just change little things. She tracks her diet all the time.
She's a beast.
She's a beast. Yeah.
And you can tell by her performance.
Yeah.
I just see you all train from across the room and try not to bother you too much, but, like, transformation.
It's yeah.
And also on the barbell.
Yeah.
And-
She's a beast.
And I think, I'm asking you questions before you're done answering the first ones, but wouldn't you say it's probably accurate that, like, we're talking about all these metrics to track progress, the mirror, the scale, measurements, the barbell.
Yeah.
Depending on what your diet is probably, it probably, how do I want to say this? It makes one of those metrics a little more important. So in other words, when we're in a cut, we can still get stronger on a cut.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little harder,
For
generally speaking.
Yeah.
But when we go back to maintenance calories, okay, we're not really concerned with the scale as much,
Yeah.
unless it's weight gain. But let's watch these barbell lifts go higher.
Oh, yeah. It's gonna be gnarly.
So you need to be able to kind of change your focus.
Yeah, for
based
sure.
on
For sure.
based on and this is the underlying theme here, based on the game plan.
Yeah.
You need to have a game plan, implement the game plan, track the progress.
There are a lot of variabilities and whatever else you can say in there, but I think that in the past I have made the mistake of, for myself and for, people we've been coaching, is, let's say by the end of that 12 weeks, we're 1,000 down, 1,000 calorie deficit, right? And we're ready to go back to maintenance. We're done. We either hit our goal, or, things maybe, like strength is going down too much. So we know, okay, it's time. But what I have done has been like, okay, let's say there were 2,000, just to pull out numbers. And when we started off the cut, they were eating around like 3,200 or something, or 3,000. And then we're going to maintenance, and we add back in like 500 or 700 calories.
Because you want to titrate up.
Well, I'm saying, like, I would just drop that in immediately.
Got you.
And body weight shoots up,
Right.
because the body's not ready to burn that yet.
Right.
And so we've got to get, like, hunger back.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other things, but with, Sally, the reason I picked Sally was because she was more of the ideal case in terms of that, it doesn't have to be exact. It's just the process of, we did 250 calories every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever deficit we were in. So really it was almost a month until she was back to maintenance. And she was 1 pound heavier than when her diet ended.
Wow.
And we kept her activity the same. Like we did all of that stuff. And as we went, I was like, we can up your walking, or whatever it is. And that worked so well. And I there's like some general rules of thumb that is like, if by the time as you're building back up, you want to keep watching the scale, maybe even watching the scale even more than when you were cutting.
Yeah.
That's another thing we could talk about is the weigh-ins.
Sure.
People are like, I weighed every day this week. And it's like, we need one weigh-in, maybe two.
It's weird that we have one brain, because I just wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because everything we're talking about, take it with a grain of salt, pardon the pun, but this can get to a really obsessive place. If you're that person that is going to be obsessive about it,
Yeah.
understand that we're painting with a very broad brush here.
Yeah.
So if you have had trouble with eating in the past, some sort of disorder or whatever, for sure, don't listen to us, consult a physician. But
Yeah.
there are ways that you can do it that aren't that obsessive. So like
For
what
sure.
you're talking about,
Yeah.
one weigh-in, every Friday, every whatever.
Yeah, most of the time I suggest that. And if somebody has a real tough time with that, I've done, let's do two weigh-ins a week. We'll do like a Tuesday, Friday or something,
Yeah.
It's like that first one doesn't really matter maybe, but
Yeah.
in this scenario, but
Because if you're up 3, down 2, up 2, down 1,
it's a freaking
every
roller coaster,
Friday,
man.
though, you're trending downward,
Yeah.
even by like half a pound or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's a much truer.
And as long as you're sticking to the plan, it doesn't matter. By the time we come back around to that next weigh-in, we'll know. That's the data we need. But I say all of that because that re-implementation is you almost need to watch the scale closer, because then you'll see, and there's whatever threshold it is. I think dependent upon the size of the person, but generally, as you're climbing, if you're starting to see like 3 pounds up, 5 pounds up, 7 pounds up, it's like, okay, we're adding back in too fast.
Right.
And so then by the time we hit that point, people can, like I said, I've had it happen twice now where when they're, in that stage where they're capable of doing that like we were like a pound up from off like the lowest deficit. And then it was like, after a week of then being there, maybe they're holding more water after they've got all those carbs and stuff. But it's like, we're 3 pounds up. And it's like, they're just, just posted up there.
Yeah.
And they feel great, and their strength's now starting to go through the roof, and they didn't gain any weight back.
Yeah,
And it's like, and then from then we can kind of decide what we want to do from there. But yeah, maintenance phase probably is good for like, I think they say 4 to 8 weeks, but really I think it's how you are mentally.
Yeah.
If you were wrecked and you're
Yeah.
tired by the end of, let's say you did 12 or 14 weeks,
Right.
you probably need to go till you feel like doing it again. Like go maintenance until
You're ready.
until you're ready mentally. Yeah, and you're like, you know what, I can do it again.
Well, and
you
that's
know?
not wrong.
Yeah, no, not at all.
If for some reason it takes you 6 months to feel that way, but you've maintained that weight loss in
Yeah.
that time,
Yeah,
who cares? Because
Yeah.
we're worried about the end goal.
yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
So I want to ask 2 more questions, short ones, before we summarize and land this
Okay.
plane, because we'll go
yeah.
forever on
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I can
Number
talk about this for
one, when
days.
you're adding back in those calories,
Yeah,
generally speaking, in my experience, I found it, most helpful for me to cut carbs,
yeah,
because I can eat 10,000 carbs a day, and they're everywhere.
yeah,
Are you adding back in carbs generally, or are you
Yeah.
adding because even in the cut, we should be still hitting our protein goals.
for sure.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's protein. It's
we cut
carbs.
out the carbs
Mm-hmm.
on the cut. We cut out sugary, calorie-filled drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a bad idea to add in some of those calories in the form of carbs in the form of like liquids and drinks and stuff like that? Just because from a hunger standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not really there, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm trying to say what.
No,
what-
yeah. I see.
Is
what
that a
you're
bad
saying.
idea?
I don't think so. I think the only time that, it depends on the person. I keep saying that, but
Mm-hmm.
it kind of, for me personally, or somebody that has, has been dropping from a bigger body weight and they got an appetite on them,
Mm-hmm.
the drinking the calories back is tough, because
Yeah.
then you may drink something and you're starving.
That's a good point.
And so, you may drink something and it didn't hit the satiation button.
Right. And to
And-
be fair, I never would, don't just go grab something with 40 or 80 grams of sugar and
Right.
drink it.
Yeah.
But just in terms of like even just like a protein shake.
Yeah, it's
You know,
kind of
adding in a protein shake, which would be that protein content.
yeah, yeah,
but,
for sure.
a lot
There's
of those
a
are
lot of ways.
a lot of those
yeah.
are like a 1-to-1 ratio, right? Like you can get proteins that are
Yeah,
like
yeah. You
40
can get
grams
some
of
that have a
protein,
little
40
more.
grams of carbs
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah. I would say it depends. If somebody's having a hard time, like their diet, their hunger's not coming back, well, and they may be whatever. But most of the time, it catches up pretty quick. But I if it was an ideal situation and somebody could do this, I would just have them eat more of what they've been already eating.
Yeah.
Like I would just say, like, hey, let's add a little more rice to the
Yeah.
same meals. Let's add a little more pasta, whatever carbs they've been choosing. But it's like, let's just add more of that as we climb back up.
Sure.
Because then once we're back at maintenance, then we can kind of say like, hey, I'm gonna have some Oreos instead of this, and then I'm gonna have some,
Right.
because if there's somebody that can do that, sometimes
Sure.
people can't do that. But
So
Yeah.
to land this plane, let's do a quick little summary of kind of that's a lot to take in.
yeah, and I would say for people that are trying to figure it out, like if you need somebody to help you, like Zach and I are more than welcome. We're more than willing to help. I mean,
And do they contact us at our homes, or how do they? I don't remember how.
there's a lot of ways you can message us on YouTube,
pigeon,
Pigeon.
carrier pigeon.
Oh, carrier pigeon smoke signals.
Smoke signals. Yeah.
But no, just you can theironfortressgym.com. You can send us an email or whatever. And I'm not even. I mean, if you want to coach, we can do that. But even if you just need advice or help,
yeah, we don't
Instagram.
really nickel and dime either, man. Like we're not in this business to make money. We're in this business to make friends. I don't know.
Friends,
know how to handle that.
frenemies.
So
No, but
definitely
so,
get some help because there's a
but-
lot of free resources out there.
But the reason I say that is because you can do this yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And with that layout, make it as simple as possible. Like really try to analyze your day, analyze what your schedule's like, when can you eat, when can you not eat, like what foods do you have available to you. And that's why I brought up the Nutri-Grain bars. I've swapped in Rice Krispie treats. I've done 2 Rice Krispie treats and a protein shake because it's like this is all I'm going to have for before I lift or
Right.
whatever it is.
Right.
And still dropped weight. And if you're tracking those calories and you're looking everything close, you can do that. It's not ideal, because there's more things to health than your weight.
Yeah.
So, Rice Krispie treats and other things, or there's blood work to look at and
Sure.
other things. But that can work. That can work if your schedule's crazy and those are the foods you have available to you. There's not these, everything has to be organic or
Yeah.
like whatever else it is. Whatever foods you have available to you can work, and just understand that it's maybe not ideal, but it's not also the worst thing either. It's like for the longest time I used to try to stray away from protein shakes, as much as I could, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I think you're definitely going to be less hungry on more food, like chicken and or whatever it is.
Right.
You're going to feel better, most likely energy wise and
Feeding the machine.
yeah. But this is one of the perks of science is that whey protein is a great high quality source of protein.
Yeah.
Like
oh,
it's
yeah.
it's not like we're looking at back in the day when whey proteins were 60% sawdust or whatever it was.
Right.
So it's like that's still a good source of stuff and it can work, but that there's a lot of ways that it can look, and it doesn't have to look like one specific thing.
So because of the way my brain works, I like to put these kind of in like a summary and kind of bullet points as much as we can. So I want to suggest the first bullet point. You tell me. I think you need to set the number 1 bullet point, set realistic goals in a realistic time frame.
Mm-hmm.
I think bullet point number 2 is before you even start the cut, track what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just understand where you're at baseline.
Yeah.
Understand that burger and fries that you ate, and no shame on that because
Not at all.
I love burgers and fries, and if you don't like burgers and fries, let's fight about it. That's one thing, but how many of those ketchup packets did you use?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a jerk and make it obsessive, but just understand if it tastes good, there's most likely calories in it.
Yeah, a lot of fat.
And that creamer you put in your coffee. I mean, this is the battle we're all fighting. So set your goals, track what you're doing.
Yeah, and you have to track. You
have to track.
There is
At least long enough for you to have some semblance of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, can you look at a piece of chicken and estimate within range of how many ounces it is? I still struggle with that, and I do that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, if I'm at a buffet, this is all a guess.
Yeah.
And the problem with guessing is if you're eating, this is on like a 10-day average, right? Like we
Right.
want our,
Yeah.
so over 10 days, you may have 40 meals. If you were wrong by 50 calories, which is not a big deal, but over 10 meals, I know you failed geography, but 10 times 50 is, thousands and thousands. No, I'm just kidding.
Thousands and thousands.
It's millions, I think.
But you're right. Like you have to track, and I think the combination of changing your whole diet and then starting to track at the same time is a nightmare sometimes for people.
Man.
Just track what you're eating first, and then you can find out this is my body weight.
Yeah.
This is what I've been eating the last 2 weeks. Doesn't matter what the foods were. Doesn't matter what it was. And then make your deficit from there.
Right.
And then just pick out low-hanging fruit. Pick
Yeah.
out what there is. If you've been eating McDonald's, for lunch every day, that might be a third of your calories.
Yeah.
You can get 1,200, 1,400 calories deep on a fast food trip quick.
And again, can't stress this enough, not hating on fast food, just like in
Yeah.
terms of feeding your machine and
Yeah.
feeling better.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Like,
Yeah, sure.
if I'm in a bind, I'm going to run through Chipotle. I'm going to run through whatever.
Yeah.
But how are you going to feel the best in this time frame where your body's going to feel starving at times?
Yeah,
know what I mean?
Are you eating
Are you gonna
a
get
bag
to-
of chips while
Are you
going
going
to
to get to
something at
5
night?
p.m., be done with your calories, and just famished?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's look for low-hanging fruit. One of those can be these little snacks, coffee creamer, and the big one, drinking your calories, coffee creamer, sweet teas,
So-
Gatorades.
So let's end it with three bullet points if you're cool with it. So it's set realistic goals and
Yep.
realistic time frames.
Yep.
Track what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Look for low-hanging fruit.
Yep.
I think that's
That's
very actionable for 90% of who we're talking about.
and that's going to get some results and a half.
If you're 10 years deep into this, those might not be the best.
Sure.
We're talking about somebody who's a year or two deep, maybe never tracked before, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
That's money. Awesome.
Nice,
I love
dude.
that. Big man problem of the day.
I'm a big man. A big man.
Number 212. Zach, let him know.
I thought it was 211. 212 it is.
211.
sorry.
Was it? Did you say 211?
No, I think it's 212.
All
I
right.
think you're right.
Let him know.
I failed memory class in homeschool, so I don't know. So big man problem number 212. This is similar to the last episode. This is inspired by the time of year we're in. Nate and I go round and round about this. The big man problem number 212 is that the world is not built for us.
Oh.
So the reason that's inspired by this time of year, you're going to be traveling to see family.
Yeah.
You're going to be traveling, to go see the lights in town, take the kiddos on a car ride, go see the Joneses and the inflatable Santa and the inflatable Grinch. That's my daughter's favorite. Is the
That's a good choice.
yeah, she's got good taste. My daughter George. So I want you all to understand something, and I don't want to paint too severe of a picture here, but I want you to understand the struggle. Do you remember those pictures of medieval times where they will put, some sort of degenerate, some sort of like thief, or maybe somebody who just couldn't pay their taxes, whatever, in those stocks in the middle of the town square, the stocks being the wooden or steel board, and they've got their hands and their
Nightmare. The combination of being trapped and public shame.
understand that is our life. Understand that's our reality.
Ugh.
Understand sitting in an airplane seat
Oh,
is like a guillotine for my hips.
airplanes.
Understand, by the way, I just sent you a video here recently of Mitchell Hooper, who's the reigning world's strongest man. I think he is still
Yeah,
reigning.
Mitch Hooper.
Mitch Hooper, of him walking through an airplane, and he wouldn't tower over us. In fact, we might be bigger than him.
Yeah.
And his head in the TikTok is his chin is on his chest,
Mm-hmm.
which is the common technique. The common technique that's taken by men of our size going through lots of places. Since I was 13 or 14, I've had to duck to get on like a school bus.
Yeah.
Then when you sit down, your knees are digging into the seat in front of you. Well, anyway, he's chin to chest. He's walking through with a bag, by the way. Nobody takes your bag. So you're walking through. Both of my hips touch the seat beside me as I'm walking through. Usually, I mean, I guess bigger planes is not. I haven't been
Well,
on a-
yeah, but that's I mean, the 2x2 seats is
Oh man, and then you put your luggage in the overhead bin or whatever, and when you go to sit down, if the armrest doesn't raise, you're just it's you and fate. It's you and fate in a tete-a-tete game of chess. Like, is this going to work? Do I have to jam myself in here?
it's a living nightmare, and I know that you have flown way more than I have in your adult life. I've only taken one flight on a plane, and it was with our other two hosts on our other show, Guys from the Gym. You can go check that out on Spotify and YouTube. And we flew to see you and Amy at Strongman Corp Nationals.
Yeah,
And it was a small plane. It was that 2x2 or whatever.
it makes total sense. Like a lot of. Oh, sorry, you finish what you're saying.
I was just saying it was a nightmare, man. It was when I got there and when I got back, I told my wife, I was like, I'm never flying again.
Yeah, no, if you can
I
keep
was
from
like,
it,
I'm
yeah.
not doing it. I'll drive 29 hours somewhere because we can dive into the details, but just sweating my can
This was
off.
the next thing I was gonna say.
Just sweating my can off.
Because also, if you're uncomfortable, I can't speak for everybody. If I'm uncomfortable, I'm sweating harder.
Anyway,
Like, there's something about that.
I'm
that
already
may-
self-conscious, sweating from that.
Maybe it's
I'm
absolutely.
angry, sweating from that.
Maybe it's a central nervous system sort of thing. Like, you're just
Yeah.
you're maxed out, and you're just like, hey, or parasympathetic. I don't know the difference, but because I failed home ec in high school, but
You are never gonna let me live that
What are you
down.
talking about?
You're
I'm just-
such a jerk.
I'm opening up. To
I
you.
misspoke. Okay.
I'm bearing my heart and soul to you, and
No,
you're making
all
me
right.
pay for it.
No, it's Keep
All
going.
right, listen. So, I guess, we can go round and round on that. Most things are not built for people of our stature, and that's okay. I don't think the world should change for just little old me, big old little old me. But because I have had to do this, if I have to run through the airport and I get there sweating and I
Yeah.
have to sit between you and somebody else,
Oh,
understand that I don't want to be there either. I know I'm inconveniencing you,
yeah.
but understand that, and I don't want to, I don't want to negatively impact your day, and
Yeah.
I'm trying my hardest not to let my elbows just drift into your.
Well, and one of the main factors that was such a nightmare was, I'm not saying I'm the most, I'm not saying I'm like the David Goggins of mental toughness, but
Only he is the David Goggins of mental toughness. But
yeah, well, but you know what I mean. I can handle some discomfort for quite a while.
Sure.
And, but, on the plane, I had somebody sitting next to me. There's two seats. I picked the window seat. Not that it doesn't matter. They both sucked. And I have I think maybe for one of the times, I might have. Oh no, that's what it was they didn't care about their vent, and so I tried to turn both of our vents on me. Neither of which even barely hit me. They
Right.
barely. The one that was closest to me was like pointed down at my waist, at like
Right.
the highest it could go. It was like my stomach. Couldn't even blow it on my face.
Yeah.
And then the other one wouldn't even hit me either. And so
Yeah.
now I'm like, there's air going. I can't even feel it.
Yeah, you gotta in those situations. In my experience, when you're like going through some real,
A real dark time.
some real discomfort, it's nice to focus on something else.
Mhm.
But literally, like, knees in the seat.
Mm.
If I sit the window seat, I've been in them before where the roof curves so much that my
Right.
head is touching the ceiling, and I've got to turn my shoulders to
Right.
sit by the window.
Yeah.
Digging into my hips, hot, like every like what would I say, like sensory input is negative. It's like, and what am I gonna have a conversation about? Like,
And
this- go on.
no, sorry, keep going.
No, I was gonna say this kind of goes into. I was thinking about this on the Guys from the Gym cast. We were talking about what would be your frivolous expense if, like, what would you spend a lot of money on if you were rich?
I
and
never even
just
thought of
totally
this.
frivolous. And I couldn't like I would do first class all the way if
Mhm.
I could,
Mhm.
and that's not frivolous
No.
because I require the space.
Well, and I don't, one of the other things for me specifically is that, I have a very interesting build in that,
Yeah.
You know, and you made fun of me. You made, I'll just say it. You made fun of me last episode for the dump truck and the hips I'm carrying around. And
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. But
I want you to be better.
the plane
Adversity.
also, and I mean, you don't even have to be that big of a person for those rails to dig into you.
Yeah.
And the armrests. Amy even took a picture of me. It was so bad where my I'm like
kept the picture.
spilling out underneath the.
I kept the picture. It's actually framed over my fireplace.
That's insane. How big?
8x13. Like how you eat your brownies.
That oh wow.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
I think it's 9x13 actually.
is it? Oh, it is. Yeah,
Is
you're
it?
right. That's a pretty good size. That's about right for the mantle. You
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
I'm
it's
also I never used the bathroom on
It's a
it.
conversation piece. I would hope
The
I would
flight
hope
the
not.
flight was not long enough, and I was I told myself I refuse. I
Yeah.
refuse to go in there. I'm not doing it. You know.
Yeah. I totally agree.
But
I totally agree.
But you're right. First class is a game changer. On our way back, I don't even remember if I told you this, but on our way back, they screwed up all of our flights and stuff, and they upgraded us to first class on the way
Oh,
back.
no way.
And still not great,
No, but better.
but oh my gosh, it was so much better.
That's why, like, I always used to low key, high key, I don't know, judge Brian Shaw. Because,
Mhm.
like, when he would go places, it was like this giant production, and he would bring his own refrigerator for the hotel room, and he would da-da-da-da-da. And some of that's just because he's the best champion of all time because of his preparation.
Right.
And then part of it's just because, again, not built for us.
No, yeah, and that's a great point. There's even levels to this game. Like we're big dudes. But think of them. There's this
Mhm.
whole group of people that tower over us both. For
Yeah.
body mass and height, and it's like.
Absolutely.
That's I think if I was Brian Shaw and I did the traveling that he did and I had just infinite amount of dollars,
Yeah.
private plane.
Yeah, if you could. Definitely if you could, because even if it's, like, smaller seats or whatever, like, there's still things you can
I'd
do.
have somebody get in there and like customize the seats where rather than it being a 6-seater, it's now a 2.
Yeah. It's a Nate seater.
There's a bench. There's just one bench,
Yeah.
and it's a reclining bench.
Wouldn't be big enough. But also to kind of call back to the state of the plates part of the podcast, and then into the big man problems. He brings refrigerators and meals for like 10 days because if you're that dialed in at that stage, you can't. I mean, you could go to the store, but there's no amount of like I can go to Chipotle, I can go to McDonald's, where you can be anywhere close what you need.
Oh gosh, yeah. And so let's hit him. Let's hit him with some tips for. Let's hit him for some tips for the
be
big people out there.
Do not be big at all costs.
No, one of them is this. One of is this, and this is probably like a common thing anyway. But I
Mhm.
don't fly often. I wore jeans, and
Bad idea.
And
I
I also
wish I would have known that was your choice.
I know I didn't. I was just trying to pack so light because I
Yeah.
didn't have to worry about. I just wanted to carry on and that's it because it was like a 2-day
so
trip.
that's a great one. Carry
Yeah.
on and that's it.
Carry on and that's it. That was really nice. And
I'm gonna say one of them. In yours to feed off yours, no jeans, like dress comfortably.
dress comfortably and cool.
Get yourself. You may catch some eyeballs, but I don't care. Get yourself a sweat towel. Get yourself a flippin' microfiber sweat towel because
that's a great one.
nothing makes me more self-conscious than like holding a conversation with somebody and I look like I'm stage 3 of the stomach flu. I look like I've had, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just raining.
Yeah. They, just dress cool. Slap you on some shorts. Get
Mhm.
you. Who cares? Get you some shorts. Maybe some 5-inch inseams.
And
I can't find any 5-inch inseams that fit me, but if you can do that, go find. And a Tommy Bahama. Grab you one of those cool
is that a drink?
button-up shirts.
Oh. You know what I want to try? I want one of those little portable fans you used to see. I don't know
Mhm.
if it would make it through security or not.
Oh, for sure.
But dude, I would do that and the people next to you would love that if you're
Yeah.
not sweating.
Yeah.
I would say honestly,
Dress cool. Carry on.
if you have to do what you do what you got to do, but if by all means necessary, for sure, but just choose a better form of travel. I think is the and
Yeah,
if it's a 2.5 hour flight and it takes you an hour to get there and you got to be an hour ahead of time,
Yeah.
like it's not as big a time saver as driving sometimes.
Right, you're right. Yeah, depending on the location, it's not that much of a time saver.
Big fan of Amtrak from a big man standpoint.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's bad seats there, but I've
Yeah.
been in some where I fit. If you can do that, it takes a ton of time.
I've done a Greyhound. and it was even better.
Really?
Yeah, they had like your seat reclined.
We did the charter buses in college when we go to games. They were without a doubt better.
Still not
than an
still not
airplane?
great. Still uncomfortable.
Not
like
great.
if we're being pretty petty about it, still uncomfortable, but better than a small, little charter flight or whatever they call it. Yeah.
My last tip
Okay.
on this.
Okay.
This might get some eye rolls, and that's fine. Go into it knowing all this. Get your mind right.
No, that's huge.
Understand, hey, next 2.5 hours of my life,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to be great,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to deal
That's
with it.
huge.
I'm gonna drink water the day or two leading up to it. Try
Mhm.
to keep hydration should always be on point. Like, shame on me, shame on all of us for not having that the case. But hydration should be on point. I'm running to the little boy's room before
Yeah.
we take
Don't
off.
use the bathroom just if you can't. I mean, things happen, but
Force it out if you have to. Because that bathroom on the plane is not an option.
I've never even used one. Never even been in one.
Not gonna.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say too, and this is ridiculous. You know what? We could probably get meticulous with this. Let's say you're somebody who trains, and you're a lifter, and you do all this stuff, and you're into all that. If it's not for competition, maybe we even work. If you're a big dude, maybe we even work on the cardio.
Sure.
Let's do like a 6 or an 8 week build up. Maybe even cut some weight.
I don't hate that.
That's not terrible, right? I mean,
hate
that's
that.
kind of extreme. But
If there was an emergency, heaven forbid, a death in the family, which we've all had to travel for,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
yeah.
Not a lot you can do.
But
have
if
to
you
do
can get
some of
ready
this-
for it, if
if
you're
6 weeks out, you got something coming,
going overseas, there's no way to travel elsewise.
right?
You're gonna maybe you do, because maybe, if you can keep that heart rate down, you're not gonna be sitting there sweating as much. There's no way around it, but maybe you can handle some of that more because you're working on some of those other tips. And if you're somebody who travels a lot for work or whatever else it is,
Yeah. And let's not forget, if they got to put it down in the ocean,
yeah.
you're going to want that VO2 max when you got to swim to shore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
When-
I mean, and
when
when
it's
you're
time to
fighting-
start a new civilization.
And when you're fighting sharks in the water with your bare hands to protect your family and your loved ones,
yeah, you find yourself on that island like Lost,
yeah.
you're going to want that VO2 max.
Oh yeah,
You
dude.
know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't.
Let's come correct, folks.
Yeah, let's come correct. I like
So,
that.
Just to button that one up, big man problem number 212. We'll call that,
Big man, little plane.
yeah,
That's not bad.
fat man, skinny plane. No, I'm playing. No. As always, I want the emotion behind the big man problems to be, you don't necessarily have to commiserate with us, but just come with some grace. Understand,
Yeah.
I don't like it either.
Just give that, because we've talked about this before. I'm going to sit down next to you. Hopefully I don't smell. I put a lot of work into that. Hopefully I don't, hopefully it's not terrible, but I'm going to be sweaty. And my shoulder, I may have sweat through my sleeves,
Yeah.
even if it's a T-shirt.
And
Give us, just give us some grace on that.
and last thing, can you give your big brother a heads up when the drink cart's coming? Because it'll take my knee clean off. Because
Yeah.
I promise you, it's out in the
Yeah,
aisle.
I was embarrassed. I had to scoot in because my knee and then also my hip were out into the,
Yeah.
and I had to try to cinch up in my seat by using I had to do a dip.
I never thought of this one. This has happened to me once or twice because I have flown a few times. If emergencies happen, lightning strikes on the plane, you've got to use the bathroom as
Lightning
a smaller
strikes, I
person or
love
whatever.
that. Yeah.
Do what you got to do, but understand, to let you out of this aisle is going to cause me a lot of harm, bodily harm to let you out.
Dude, I do the same thing at movie theaters. We can talk about that. That can be another one.
Movie
but,
theaters is a great one.
But dude, if I have to get up out of that airplane, I had that happen, and I was like, oh, this is like moving an entire caravan of people across the desert.
Yeah.
It's the work that's about to happen for me to get up, to get out, for them to get out to go to the bathroom, and then I have to get up again when they come back.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
But yeah, I think we're both pretty gracious people as much as we can be.
Yeah,
But it does put me in I don't
If
mind
you got to
being,
get out of the aisle, we're going to get up
yeah,
17 times.
I don't mind being put out by somebody, but
No.
I honestly do see how people push to their limits can be like, nah, dude,
Nah, man.
not gonna happen. Hey guys,
been-
we really appreciate you if you're listening to this.
It's been great.
We really like doing this. Help us with content. Give us some ideas of questions you want answered. comment on,
These are
how dumb Nate is
so they
or
don't do
whatever you
comments
do.
on Spotify.
So they have to be on YouTube.
Yeah, so they're going to get uploaded to YouTube. We're not on video yet. We're working on that.
But we also have Instagram. You can DM us. You can comment on posts. Whatever.
DM the Instagram. Shoot us messages on through email. Even we have you can go to ironfortressmedia@gmail.com. You can shoot us some ideas and questions through there. But yeah, on both Spotify and YouTube, give us a rating, share it, ring the bells.
Let people know we exist because, you can upset somebody and they're going to tell everybody that they know. But in my experience, if you take care of people and you do right and you operate with integrity, 10 of those people that you give a good experience to, you'd be lucky to get one of them to tell somebody about it.
Yeah.
And I think part of that, there's a whole other podcast, is just kind of the way negativity works in humans. But if you know anybody who's struggling with this, like I said, shameless plug, whatever, we offer services. We offer paid and free services.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It kind of, everybody's different, and Nate and I are not the people who are just going to take your money for nothing. We've turned away as much business as we've accepted because they're not in a position to need to pay for our services yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe, and if it's beyond our expertise or something like that, we're going to be very. It's not above us to refer you to somebody else.
Yeah, we're going to try to make sure that we're actually the people for that.
Consult a physician with all these things. Don't just take our word for it.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
If you have any kind of, if you've got diabetes, for instance, a lot of what we talked about today has
the rules
asterisk
change for
by
stuff.
it.
Yeah, the rules change for small things like that.
We love you. We'll see you. We'll see you when we see you.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. This has been Big Man Problems, and we're out. Don't do that.
To any
What?
previously
And we're out.
existing tool is almost a miracle.